welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News.
Well, before we go to our first guest, we would like to announce that Arise News, in line with international best practice, will host a first-of-its-kind program called the Arise News Anambra Governorship Political Debate tomorrow between 12 and 3 p.m.
Supported by Enough is Enough, the debate will be broadcast live on the Arise News channel locally and internationally, the Anambra Broadcasting Service radio and television network, as well as Ogene FM. Now, the debate has been cleared by the Independent National Electoral Commission, otherwise known as INEC, and will have the following candidates in attendance: Andy Uba of the All Progressives Congress, Professor Chukwuma Soludo of the All Progressives Grand Alliance, and the candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Valentine Ozigbo. The show will be held on Monday, the 1st of November, and will be anchored by the multiple award-winning duo of Ruben Abati and Ngozi Alegbu.
Issues to be addressed will include unemployment, security, and the economy. Arise is viewed in over 150 countries and territories. Be sure to be a part of this as we bring it to you live. Make sure you tune in, joining us now to speak on the reasons for the adoption of a majority voting consensus and expectations of the newly elected National Working Committee at the People's Democratic Party's convention is the party's Deputy National Publicity Secretary, Diran Odeyemi. Good morning, Mr. Odeyemi. Welcome to the morning show.
Good morning. Thank you very much. I'm happy to be here this morning.
You're welcome indeed. Good to have you. I know that you were part of the convention last night, and the results, of course, are out. But I'm wondering, what would be your assessment? Former President Goodluck Jonathan was not there. We know, of course, that former President Obasanjo is hardly a party member anymore. Coronation did happen as expected for Dr. Yokia Ayu. But then your party couldn't reach consensus for 3 positions. What does this portend for your party moving closer to 2023? Do we have a united party, or we are still struggling to have a united mouth? Tell us.
Thank you very much. You have asked almost 3 questions in one. The absence of the former presidents, I think they gave a reason for their absence, especially the former president, Jonathan. He's out of the country on very important assignments, and we don't have any grudge against him. He was with us in spirit.
Okay.
And talking about the unity in the party, I think I expect a kind of a congratulatory message from you that as a political party, we are able to organize ourselves, because the anticipation of many Nigerians or the way they perceive PDP is that, it's a party that is in crisis, especially with the court ruling hanging on our neck a day before the convention. But at the end of the day, you can see how organized we are. You can see how democratic we are. And you can see that at the end of the day, people who decided to contest those elections were allowed to contest. And the delegate did the right thing by voting for their choice. And at the end of the day, we had a good result, where even people who lost in the election congratulated the winners. So we are on course, and we thank God for the successful hosting of the Congress.
Well, speaking of the unity in the party, now the suspended national chairman of the party, Uche Secondus, tried and failed to stop this convention from holding. How confident are you that he'll keep working in the party's interest, considering he's obviously disgruntled over his removal from office?
If you listen to Secondus very well, he did make it clear that he did not take the party to court, but he is challenging certain things that he felt are not right within the party. So there are 2 different things. Having said that, Secondus has benefited from this party a lot, and I want to say and I want to believe that he's a committed member of the party. That we had our convention and it went smoothly. we believe is not the end of everything. We are still going to continue with our reconciliation move. Political parties are always about crisis management, and part of the way we are going to continue to manage it is to continue to talk among ourselves. And I assure you, the way you saw us resolving the issues of the convention is the way you are going to see us resolving the issue of secondus. So the party is bigger than any individual, and that is why whatever we do as a party person, we always put at the back of our mind the overall interest of the party members.
The overall interest of party members. I mean, when we look at your parties and the positions that were confirmed in your Congress or your convention in the early hours of today, that I think that's when we got our confirmation. Yes. I think one thing that stood out to all of us was that representation along gender wasn't very strong. There aren't any women that we saw take many positions. Now, that's something that doesn't come as a huge surprise. We did have Indikato on the show yesterday, and while she herself was a former member of the PDP, she did make it clear that some women had faced issues where they were threatened to not stand in the convention. With the numbers how they are now, with the lack of representation of women within the PDP, how can you market yourself as a party that represents all people if you don't have women within your ranks?
I'm not sure you have the correct picture of what happened yesterday. If you did, you will know that we have a woman, a professor, as a woman leader. And we also have another position occupied by a woman. So we have two women representing, women fold in the NWC that comprises of 13 people. I think we should be satisfied with that.
No, we shouldn't.
And we have a 25-year-old boy.
Go ahead, please finish. But I don't think anybody should be satisfied with just two women within one little committee. But please continue.
Less than 20, how much is it? 35%?
How many do you want? If you tell us now, maybe we will adjust ourselves in the next convention.
How many do you think you should have?
2 out of 13, Mr. Odeyemi. Is that good enough? 2 out of 13.
Can you say that again?
I said 2 women
out of 13, yes.
Is that good enough in your own estimation, given the fact that it's a lot lower than what is recommended internationally? You know the story of Malawi, you know the story of other parts of Africa where women are playing major roles, almost 50-50, in their party affairs and in their legislature. We're not, it doesn't look like we're anywhere close to, the affirmative action that is expected of, Africa's largest democracy.
As a political party, we do recognize the impact and the importance of women. And that is why even, the amount collected from them for the interest or for the nomination form is virtually nothing. But the point is, you cannot force them to come and contest. The people who contested are the people that won the election. So we encourage them, we encourage the youth, and it's part of our new adoption that women and youth are very key to, they are very important to us in the party. So 2 out of 13, I think is relatively good.
Well, okay. Now, what do you make of the adoption of former President of Senate, Professor Irocha Ayu, as the consensus choice for the position of national chairman?
The personality of Senator Ayu, and that is why virtually all the states and everybody in PDP accepted his chairmanship. He's a cool-headed individual, a unifying force, and somebody that we know and trust will take the party to the promised land. So that nobody contested against him is even an indication that as PDP we are very organized, and we can pinpoint a personality that can do the job adequately. And that is why you must congratulate us for bringing up somebody.
Okay, congratulations will be in order, Mr. Odeyemi. But then, is there a hidden...
Thank you very much. Now you are
Finally.
Okay. That's from you since we started.
Okay, that's fine. But then, Mr. Odeyemi, is there a hidden message to the public in the emergence of Dr. Ayu, given the fact that he's a northerner, he's from the North Central? Should we expect, therefore, that by next year, when the flag bearer will be decided, will it come, southwards as the mood of the nation seems to dictate? Is that the hidden message in the choice, consensus choice of Dr. Ayu?
In PDP and generally in politics, the more journalists look, the less they see. 24 hours is a long time in politics. And the way we arrange ourselves, you can never know it. That we are picking the chairman from the north is never an indication that we cannot pick the president from any zone. And as at the time, the chairmanship of the party was being zoned to the north, it was stated expressly that the presidential candidate can come from any zone. When we get to that bridge, we will cross it. Just leave us with the arrangement. We have done the immediate thing now by having a good national working committee, which will be a good pedestal on which whoever we are going to present as a presidential candidate can stand. This is a solid foundation. Let's start from there.
Okay, well, solid foundation. I guess this is a solid place for us to take a little break. We will continue on our conversation on matters arising in the PDP in the aftermath of its convention. Please do stay with us. Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. We are still joined by Diran Odeyemi, who joins us from Abuja. We have been talking about, of course, the PDP, which is the national convention, which happened yesterday. The PDP is obviously the opposition party in Nigeria. And as we focus on our attention, I know we'll continue discussing about what happened yesterday, but I guess if we look ahead, all roads definitely lead to 2023. And I know just before we went on break there, when you were talking about the national chairmanship and how even though that seat is now occupied by someone from the north central of this country, zoning in that particular instance isn't something that is important to you. But when you look at, again, who may well be your flag bearer or who would make it onto the presidential ticket, are you saying that zoning or ethnic background has no bearing at all on who you think the party would choose to support?
Of course, we will put a lot of things into consideration. Our strategy is to win the presidency in 2023. We have to listen to Nigerians. We have to look at their body language. We have to look at this. We have to strategize and evolve a system that will put us in that office. So zoning is part of it. But just like I said, when we get to that bridge, we will know how to cross it.
Well, Mr. Odeyemi, how feasible is that desire, though? I mean, given the fact that you lost three of your governors to the ruling APC, in the course of the year, and it looks like, one or two other names have been mentioned. How prepared are you to face a fairly stronger APC at this point, by the time that we're getting into electioneering? How prepared?
Politics is a game, an interesting game indeed. The governors that defected to APC, we keep asking them, and Nigerians have been asking this question. What is the attraction? What attracted them to APC to go and join them, especially at this particular time that APC themselves have disappointed in themselves with the promises they made to Nigerians, with the way they have failed Nigerians, and with the way Nigerians now perceive that political party. You will agree with me that most of the reasons given by these governors has got nothing to do with the problem in the party. It is their own personal and selfish desire for position elsewhere or something they cannot get in PDP that drove them away. And just like I said, just like in the football team, there are instances where you sell or where a football team will buy your liability, and you should wait till when you will get their assets back from them. That is not to say that now that we are settled as a political party, that we have our national working committee in a place, that we have our national officers in place. Wait for what is going to happen in PDP. We are going towards 2023. A lot of people from APC will defect. I can assure you of that.
Well,
a lot of people in APC are coming to PDP. We are settled. They are yet to get their acts right.
Mr. Odeyemi, will that be? Are you saying that because Dr. Mimiko?
I told somebody yesterday,
yes,
that people who believe Femi Fani-Kayode left PDP for APC. I told them Femi Fani-Kayode is a liability. Dele Momodu joined us yesterday. That is an asset, and that's the kind of what we are going to see
really?
In recent time.
All right. Well, let's talk about the problems within the party. Now, few sources have disclosed that the furore which trailed the abridgment of tenure of Uche Secondus and the early national convention was caused by a plot by PDP governors to prevent Atiku's presidential aspiration and, to push forward their own ambition. What do you make of that?
I can tell you that I am part of this administration. And by reckoning, our administration ends on the 8th of December. The party was clever in ensuring that even though these officers were elected yesterday, they have not been sworn in. We are still in office. I'm still the Deputy National Public Secretary until December 8th. So that tells you that we know what we are doing in PDP and we are not going to run foul of the law. Have I answered your question? Or you mentioned something about Atiku, which I didn't get quite right.
Okay, let's move to Atiku. I mean, he has not yet declared that he is going to run for presidency. What do you make of his campaign?
Well, I'm a party man. There are a lot of party leaders who will be coming out to aspire. And as a national officer, maybe by the time I become X, I'll be able to put up, a kind of support for whoever I think will become the candidate of PDP. You see, this is interest. A lot of candidates will come out from north, south, southeast, everywhere. We are expecting them. We are anticipating that many of them will come. Just like I said, we will listen to Nigerians. We will know what they want. We will strategize. We will scrutinize. And at the end of the day, we'll come out with a candidate that we know that personally and individually, it will have won 60% of Nigerians' confidence. So that at the end of the day, our campaign will not be much other than to tell Nigeria what we want to do.
Are there candidates like that in PDP, especially if such a candidate has attempted to run previously? What will such a candidate do differently this time around? And then if the type of a person you have in mind has not run before, who could that possibly be? Who will, by just mere announcing his name, you're sure of, about 60% acceptability? Who can that be?
You can as well guess, you can as well suggest for us, maybe behind camera. What I'm telling you now, what I'm saying in essence is, you see, the last time we had our convention in Port Harcourt,
yes,
12 aspirants came out. I can tell you conveniently that of all the 12 that came out, just pick any of them, they will govern Nigeria very well. That means we have the quality and we have the men, the capable men, experienced, that can govern this country better than the way APC and Buhari is managing it. So we are not short of good men. What we now need to do is to select the best for Nigeria. And at the end of the day, just like I said, we will watch Nigeria, we watch their mouth, we watch their body language to know what they want so that we'll give them what they want.
So what if if what they want is more women, what then? What happens then? Because I was just listening to your answer just there. You talked about, having enough men and having enough manpower. I wonder if you realize that there is a section of the electorate who would like to see more women in positions of power, with the convention how it's gone, and with such little, with such a small amount of women in positions within your party. Again, I want to ask you how you're going to appeal to women who want to see themselves in the politics that leads them.
We will encourage women to come and aspire for the president of this country in PDP. And you can help us do the campaign that is now open. That PDP as a political party is giving the opportunity to the youth and to women come out and contest. So we are not barring everybody. And just like I said, we have adopted a system of respecting the youth and women in positions in PDP. So that we have 2 women in the NWC comprising of 13 positions is an indication that we are really ready to embrace women.
Okay, Mr. Odeyemi, that's good to know, and we'll hold you to your words when the time comes. But I'd like to ask you a question, not on the national scale now, even though it has a bearing on it. I know that you are very familiar with the politics in the Southwest. Arakwaja, Alhaji Taofeek Arakwaja emerged as the deputy national chairman against former Governor Oyinlola. That was one of the keenly contested positions. Does that say anything about the strength of the Oyo State Governor, Engineer Seyi Makinde, who apparently is behind Arakwaja's candidature? What does that say to the only PDP man standing in the Southwest? Are we saying something that puts Seyi Makinde in a position of influence, having succeeded in getting Arakwaja there now?
That is the interesting aspect of politics. And when I say politics is about abracadabra, the more you look, the less you see. Both Governor Seyi Makinde,
yes,
former Deputy Governor Taofeek Arakwaja, and Governor Oyinlola, they were in the same camp. In the same camp when we had the Southwest zonal election, where Arakwaja emerged as the zonal chairman. They are all in the same camp. Personally, I'm in the camp of Governor Ayodele Fayose. We lost that election. But immediately after we lost, we embraced ourselves. That is politics. And now, the 2 of them that contested that election are from the same camp. It doesn't say anything about whether Governor Seyi Makinde is the leader or not. Of course, he is the leader in the Southwest. He is the leader. He's not contestable, and nobody has ever denied that. So it's like 2 of his men are contesting for a position, and 1 of them won. 2 of our men in PDP or in the Southwest are contesting an election, and 1 of them won. So it has got nothing to do with the ego of anybody. We are all happy as PDP. We are all one family. We are under the same umbrella.
Diran Odeyemi, thank you very much for what's been quite an animated conversation this morning. We've all thoroughly enjoyed it. Thank you for joining us.